is the Conservative Colonel Podcast with Harrison Dawes, where one man stands against the rising tide of liberalism. This officer in the battle to preserve our nation is the Conservative Colonel.
Nothing ends here. Our hopes and our journeys continue.
And here's Harrison Dawes.
Welcome back to the Conservative Colonel Podcast. I'm your host, Harrison Dawes, and I'm joined by Graves Baker. How you doing, Graves?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm tired, but I'm here. I know to the shock of everybody, we are now have released an episode, and it has not taken a month. It's still a week late, but that's improvement.
Deserves a round of applause.
It really does. We came I can't describe how close we came to actually being able to be. This is our third episode back instead of the second. When I tell y'all last Thursday, we came like an inch from having the show done. And I realized I needed to be somewhere. Graves was booked up. And when I came back, I was like, oh, I'll do a solo one. I just like having Graves here because it's just, honestly, it's funner with Graves. It's easier with Graves. I don't have to worry about the whole show. Me and Graves are pretty much on the same wavelength, so it's just easier to do a show like that. And so I was like, oh well, I'll hammer down, and I had a couple things I was going to talk about, some that we'll actually still talk about on this episode, but and then I downloaded it and. My mic was muted the whole time, Graves.
Oh, no.
So I have an audio video that is an hour long that you can't hear anything. And watching the video format of it it'll throw you for a loop. It's weird. But we are happy to be back again. We said that with everything that kind of happened with Charlie, how serious we're taking the future of our country when it comes to the guiding principles of it, the morals of this country. And I think conservatism is the best guiding principle for this country going forward, because liberalism is just going to enter us into complete chaos. And I don't know about you, but every time I get on Instagram or social media, you can always see how liberalism is affecting the public when it comes from people just like this girl goes into a C Spire, or that's what we have here in Waynesboro. But a phone place to get her iPhone screen repaired. She gets it repaired and she runs for the door. As soon as the guy gets done and he's about to ring her up, she snatches the phone and runs to the door.
Of course.
He locked it and called the police. Sucked for her. Her mama came at the end of that video and gave her a good scolding. And I was like, yes, conservative parenting is back. You could see the disappointment as the mom looks at her 20 or 30-year-old daughter and is just like, what have I done? And I've seen a lot of videos like that, these group of men were beating on a girl and this guy comes in to save them. And the people who were beating on the girl were offended that the cops came. Why would you come? Is it because of my race? And that is just liberalism at its core. It's the victim mentality. This guy over here that stopped him from getting beaten, his arm is bleeding. The cops keep asking him to go to the hospital. He's like, no, I'm fine.
They don't care, though. I mean, that's how they've been taught, is whatever I want to do, I can do because I am oppressed and, everybody should cater to me.
Well, I mean, look at the Charlottesville incident. I mean, that's we touched on it rarely. We were going to touch on it more, but I feel like at this point, a lot of people have already touched on it. That's people that our listeners probably already listen to their podcast. But this guy stands up, stabs this poor girl to death, and and I can't remember exactly what he said. Graves, I'm hoping you do. But he said
There's
something
a
on the
couple of
lines.
things.
I got that white girl, something like that.
Yeah, that's what he said.
And he said it over and over again while the whole bus watched this girl bleed out. Some people were nice enough to get out their phones and record it.
A lot of help that was.
Yeah, a lot of help. This girl is dead now. Not even run over there and try to stop the bleeding. Everybody just kind of got out of this guy's way. He got off, and she falls to the floor. The young life perished. She left a war zone to come to America, not knowing she's entered another. But that's what liberalism
That's
is. It's affected everybody's mind. They
yeah.
feel like they get away with anything now.
And I think also this may seem a little out of pocket, but when everybody makes it sound like if we were to open up the insane asylums, it sounds so bad when you put it that way. Everyone makes it sound so bad, but we're not treating mental health. There are people on the streets. The guy that stabbed her had been to jail 14 times. Why is he on the street? People who are shooting up places like the Charlie Kirk thing, his transgender boyfriend posted a song a couple months ago on SoundCloud, it's gone now, called Charlie Kirk Dead at 31. There are signs. If you see people acting this way, or if doctors see people acting this way, we do need to treat it somehow. We can't just let them be on the street and get a gun and go shoot somebody.
You want my controversial take, Graves? Because I'm about to get into it. I think part of the problem is we've let them dwell in this mental illnesses for a long time. I mean, look at the whole transgender movement. Biological men wanting to be women. Biological women wanting to be men. And having these surgeries to do so that completely just scars them. It's like going to a doctor and asking him to, hey, could you cut up my face, please? I think I'll look better. Like that's not normal. And if I went to a doctor saying that, I would probably be prescribed some pretty heavy medicine and asked to go to therapy. And that's what these people need. And I'm about tired of acting like, no, don't say that. That's just going to make you. No. I mean, Charlie agreed with me. They're crazy. Look at the violence rate. Heck, Charlie was talking about the trans violence when he got shot by a man dating another man who was trans. The bullet casings had trans ideology on it. And, again, I'm one of those believers. You don't let one person muck up a whole group of people, because that's happened throughout all of history. And it's just like, again, don't do that. Like, especially with like the poor police force, you get one racist son of a gun that needs to be dealt with in the police force, but all of a sudden that's the whole police force. I don't like doing that, but when the evidence is there, it's there. It's kind of hard to ignore.
And I also think and I can't confirm, but the transgender roommate has possibly disappeared after it was, I just said it. I guess that's a good way to put it. But
it's in it.
After it was cooperating with the FBI, and now apparently has disappeared.
And that's just a sad thing, it's gone. And I've went through some of the text messages that they have released, with again, I don't know if we've even talked about it, but Tyler Robertson is the one accused And I will say it, as a constitutionalist, he is innocent until proven guilty in this country. Until the court officially charges him with murder, I will not say, he is for sure the assassin. Even though the evidence is there, that's just who I am. Graves, if Graves disagrees with me, I actually welcome him to just say it because I wish I could, but them dang morals. But
well, my stance on it is it's just the evidence, right? Like, okay, let's say that it ends up it's not this guy. Well, dang. But as of right now, give him the death penalty.
Oh, I think Charlie's assassin should get the death penalty. And that was a hard thing for me to come to terms with because, one of my friends mentioned it. If you're pro-life, you can't be against taking a life when it suits you. And I agree with that to a stance. But I have also come to an agreement, and we've talked about this on the last episode, Graves. When we had capital punishment, all of a sudden, these horrible murders, they had the right charge for it. Death, the death penalty. And I think we talked about it after the show. I can't remember. It could have been with someone else. The last couple of weeks are still a blur to me, honestly, because I'm still not processing it well. I'll be honest. But, someone and I talked about it and was like, you know what? Let's make sure every state has a death penalty. Let's just kill all the mass murderers because we're beyond it. People have to know there's consequences. And this has convinced me. I will say that, before this, I probably would have said, I don't know how I feel about the death penalty. I was for it when I was younger, but as I got older and got more into pro-life, I was like, well, it is a bit hypocritical. But now I'm kind of like, nah, you're going to pick to be the scum of humanity. You're going to decide that. You're going to decide to kill this man in front of his wife and kids. You're going to decide to stab a 14-year-old girl, or not a 14-year-old girl, but a young woman in the subway. You know what? Fry, I've lost that part of me from this. I have lost it. So yeah, no, I hope the accuser gets 100% the death penalty because here's just some of the stupidness he was saying. I have some of it pulled up, and I'm going to kind of go through here and read some of the things he said to his boyfriend. I had enough of his hatred. He spread too much hate. Again, Charlie never asked for violence against others. He asked for simple debate. And now he might have mopped the floor with you, embarrassed you, but he wasn't spreading hate. I know a lot more extremists out there than Charlie. Charlie was the nice one. And this is, again, what are they calling us, Graves, over and over and over again? Nazis, fascists, basically the devil incarnate, the second coming of the Antichrist. Like they're putting all these labels on us, and then they act shocked when someone, yes, he's a Nazi, we have to kill him. And I'm pretty sure they, of course, have been their favorite one right now is fascist. I would say they don't want to call us too much of a Nazi, but a fascist. And the Tyler's mother said over a year or so ago he became more political and started leaning more left. He became pro-gay and trans right, and he started dating a man who was a transgender, which basically just means he was a man with a mental disorder. And I'm going to stand by those.
Well, according to the DSM-5 actual psychology, not the ones that propaganda teaches you today, it is a mental disorder.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to be honest. I 100% think it is. I know some people will be like, well, you're a Christian, so you automatically think that's wrong. And there is some truth to that. That my Christianity has guided me to that. But as Charlie has said lots of time, his Christianity influences him as a man and somewhat politically, but he also lets facts guide him. And this is just, as I said, it's mental illness that has taken root in our country. You can't convince me otherwise. Hey, let's let someone that is attractive to 12-year-olds, California, be able to identify as a 12-year-old and be able to groom kids.
Yeah.
I mean, that's California for you. That's the worst of the worst. But
Minor
still,
attracted persons.
minor attractive person. We can't call them pedophiles anymore. Minor attractive persons. And again, that's coming out of California. And they want every state to be like California. And
Yeah,
you know,
they think they're
Robinson,
the model of the world.
we can get into a whole topic about how the communists have always wanted to be the top people in this country. They used to use Christianity to say this is why you should do something. Now they don't. Now they just say it's the authority they have that they're always right. And this is how we should be guiding, because don't worry, if you don't know what's right or wrong, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, AOC, they'll tell you what's right and wrong. And you follow that, or you end up in jail, you end up shot, you end up blacklisted, you end up jobless, you end up paycheckless. You're like dox. I know someone has threatened to dox me and kill me. You know, that's what they want. They want us to turn into England. And I know we've talked about it a couple times, but people who pray in their own home in England is subject to arrest. People that fight the what's happening over there will be arrested for freedom of speech. I don't know if anybody notices this. Go ahead.
Somebody got arrested in England a couple weeks ago for calling somebody a Muppet on Twitter, and they reported it to the police because it gave them anxiety.
Can I do that with the liberals that have given me death threats? Can I flip the script on them and say I've gotten anxiety from that? No, because all of a sudden it's a white man saying it, and they look at my voting history and they take a look at me. They're going to be like, oh, no, he's fine. I guarantee it, because we're the rub some dirt in it people. But, you know, liberals aren't. They're going to cry. But, you know, he left a note that said, I had a chance to take out Charlie. I did it. And, of course, even the person with the mental illness is texting, you're joking, right? That should tell you all you need to know about this man. We are going to take a quick commercial break. I forgot to do it, and we'll be right back after this. Everybody tells you how hard 25 will hit you. No one tells you how hard 26 will hit you and going on 27. Let me tell you, Graves. We are back with the Conservative Colonel podcast. Before we kind of jump into everything, please make sure to check out our website, conservativecolonel.com. You can check us out. Our new episodes every Thursday. We're releasing this on Thursday, Graves. Let's have a little quick clap for that. Of course, our main platform is Speaker, but we're also on Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music and Audible, Cashbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Listen Notes, and Good Pods. And, of course, we release the video format of the show every Wednesday on YouTube. So let's kind of jump back into things. We need to get better at taking commercial breaks anyway, so I'm glad we kind of had a situation. That's all I'm going to say live on air. But Robinson goes on to talk about how, you know, in these texts, and again, I don't know when the mentally ill person, and I guess I need to clarify because there's two ones in this scenario, but I don't know when the boyfriend was like, maybe I should talk to the cops. Because, like, even if, like, Graves, man, you were like a brother to me. We're in this political war together. But if Graves came up to me, dude, I just did this to so-and-so. You know, or he said, check under our desk, and I see that. I'm going to have some questions.
Yeah.
And Graves probably ain't going to have long to figure it out before I'm ratting him out. No offense, but, like, that's just common sense, justice. You can't just go around murdering people. But, you know, Robertson went on to text. He was worried, or he said, worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back my grandpa's rifle. Of course, this also kind of ties into the fact that I think he was gifted that rifle, and he was worried after he dropped it off that they would show it on the news, because he knew if he would show it, his father would kind of piece it together because he had just given it to him. And again, the left have also used this as a chance to take away our Second Amendment rights, but that's a whole other topic. But he was worried about that, and then he told his boyfriend, let's see here, delete this exchange. He said he was going to turn himself in willingly, which we figured out later that his mom and dad actually convinced him to turn himself in willingly. He did say, don't take any interviews or make any comments. If the police ask you anything, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. Let's see here. He does go on to say, let's see here. There's just a couple more I have from this article. By the way, I'm getting this from CNN because I thought of the irony.
Them actually reporting on something, huh?
I know. I was shocked just as you. But I thought it'd be funny if I got all this information from CNN. So any of our liberal listeners, by the way, we do have a perfect place for you. If you want to hit the home button on the conservativekernel.com website, why don't you scroll down until you see George Washington, and there's an email the host segment. Why don't you email me? I will have a lovely exchange back and forth with you. Let's open that door. But Robertson,
yeah, I mean, might as well
go ahead.
If they don't if they disagree with us, might as well come on the show and talk about it like Charlie did instead of shooting us.
Yeah, hey, instead of shooting me, I won't throw Graves into that. Graves hasn't signed on just yet. He might have. I'm not doing that to Graves, though. I'm not asking for anybody to shoot Graves. But, if you want to come at me, how about first you try to debate me? And me and Graves will not double team you. I'm sure stuff Graves is better at answering than I am. But, if you want to come on, have a civil discussion, that's fine. Keep it civil. Maybe don't cuss. That'd be nice for me not to have to edit. But I highly doubt that happens. I think they'll all be uncivil. But, why don't you email us and we'll bring your comments up on an episode. We'll tell you why you're wrong. Robertson went on to say, remember how I was engraving bullets? Talking to, again, his boyfriend on the day of the mass shooting. The effing messages on them are mostly big memes. And as in last week, please remember the next part of this is probably not suitable to children, so maybe just skip the next couple of minutes to be safe if you are riding with your children in the car. But notice the bulge ooh-woo. What's this? Ooh-woo on there, a couple of them talking more about male genitalia. And that's on the cases. Again, it had, as we said earlier, trans ideology on it. Stuff from the trans culture, if you even want to call it that, mental illness culture. Stuff like that, which I find just extremely weird. Oh, and one bullet was engraved, "Hey, fascist, catch."
Mm-hmm.
And, quoting from Utah Governor Cox, that one kind of speaks for itself. I mean, again, what have they been calling us, Graves? Nazis and fascists. And what does the bullet say, Graves? "Hey, fascists, catch." If you need any more
they didn't
proof,
stop either.
No. They still are doing it today. That's why we need to, in my opinion, just get rid of the left and let the socialists start over. Because the sad truth is there are always going to be communists and socialists in the country, but the group we have now are just crazy. We need an era of politics again to just get us back on track. My gosh, I'd rather deal with liberal conservatives than this. And liberal conservatives blow my mind. on their stupidity just as much. But this is just turning the country violent. We're going to be a war zone soon if we don't watch out.
Yeah, I mean it has gotten bad, and like it's the rhetoric hasn't stopped, and the actions have not stopped either, sadly.
Mm-hmm. And again, it blows my mind that the politicians and the media have not taken their, hey guys, us pushing all this hate. This is kind of what started this. We're sorry. Because again, it's right there in black and white. Hey, fascists, catch. He could have wrote anything on these bullets, and he really literally did write anything that came into his sick mind. But one stood out, a pinpoint message that he wanted to prove. Hey, fascist, catch. He's spreading hateful ideology. He's being hateful. Who says that? Not the right, the left. And I'm going to talk about how the right has reacted to this in a second. Me and Graves both will. But Robinson turned himself in 33 hours after the shooting. Robinson's mom believes she recognized her son via surveillance photo, and the father agreed, and then was able to see that the rifle was the one that he had given his son as a gift. Robertson's father texted him asking for a picture of a rifle. Let's see here. Robertson then implied into text with his boyfriend that he was going to take his own life, and Robertson's parents were able to convince him to meet them at their home, where he did imply that he was the shooter, and he told them there's too much evil, and the guy, Charlie Kirk, spreads too much hate. I mean, again,
It sounds like they're spreading hate.
Yeah.
The guy that shoots somebody they disagree with, and the media who keeps agging it on.
That's what blows my mind. You can see 100% this is a actual hate crime. Hating someone for something that is either an integral part of themselves, or hating someone for, of course, the one we're all familiar with, because the color of their skin or their religion. But this is political hate, and it has manifested in leftist media and politicians. And this is what you get. You get these brainwashed, weak individuals who are already mentally ill. We've talked about how the fact that he was dating a guy who himself is mentally ill because he thinks he's a woman and he's a man. And he's a transgender who more likely did something to his body, and then he's writing all this stuff on the bullet cases, one on the actual bullet. A retired deputy sheriff did go as a family friend with the Robertsons to convince him to turn himself in. And that is kind of where he did turn himself in. And that's kind of all the information I have on that. There is some news that I'm sure everybody knows now with, but let's stay on this for a second longer. Before I kind of jump ship, because I'm awful about that. I just, it blows my mind how no one sees what's happening on the left. Some even on the right. How they just will ignore the fact that this is what they've turned our country into. It is a sad day in American history, and I think one that will be remembered forever, especially in the conservative movement, where you killed, probably our brightest voice.
There's a lot of people comparing it kind of to MLK. I think there was actually more people at the Charlie Kirk stuff. They had two separate buildings. It wasn't just the Cardinals Stadium. And I mean, people all around the world, I mean, civil rights is a huge deal, but there's been something different with this. Like, we're 2 weeks in, and I still, when I see a video on TikTok or Twitter or something, I still get emotional. Like, this, I don't know the words. I still don't know how to describe it. Just the impact that it's had across the world with people with faith and also our beliefs and speaking up. They've got 120,000, probably more than that now, new chapter requests. There were only 9,000 at TPUSA across the country before he got shot.
Yeah, no, membership and chapters have exploded. I know what you're talking about. I've seen it too. I did not double check this, but someone that is a decently trusted source did say that Charlie Kirk's assassination and memorial has gotten more media attention than the Kennedy and the MLK. And now, again, this could also be a reflect of the media age we're living in, but I think Charlie's memorial service
On raw
in Arizona.
numbers.
Yeah, it's like what, 1 billion now? Oh, in total. I know the Turning Points video of it is at 4.3 million. Let's see. I'll pull up if it's on Charlie's because I know they've been multi-broadcasting it. Let's see here. Fox
I know
has
Charlie
it.
had one because I was watching it.
Yeah, no, Charlie. Not Charlie's. Fox's is at 2.6. Turning Points is at 4.3. Let's see here anymore. A prayer vigil for Charlie is at 1.3. I mean, the coverage on this has been the biggest in, I think, history when it comes to an assassination because we're in a media age and it's a lot easier to get information out. But I also think it points to just how beloved Charlie was.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, again, I've seen on a line of people being like, Charlie's hateful and this, and then conservatives texting back, Charlie was the nice one.
Right.
And Charlie was. I can attest to the fact that how I have changed politically since this and been like, yeah, nope, Charlie definitely would have handled this better than me. And maybe that's a sign that I need to try to become a better man. But right now, I'm just still pissed. But, y'all have made a mistake. And I think the liberals are going to regret it for years to come.
Right.
But that's kind of the most recent updates on Charlie's assassin and stuff like that. What went around with it. His wife, Erica Kirk, has been named the new CEO and chairman of Turning Point USA. Charlie did leave notes and wills to a lot of members of that trustee board of Turning Point that if anything ever happened to him, he wanted his wife to be chairman and CEO. I mean, again, they work closely together. They're married. And, the Bible says that, when you do marry, you become one person. So I honestly don't know if anybody else could have taken it on. And I know a lot of people are trying to step up to fill the void of Charlie's tours, his speaking. I don't know if anybody's going to be a better debater right now. Charlie was just, I mean, wow. He debated you in such a nice way, but still made you look like an idiot. It was great. I said it when when this originally happened. I would have loved to debate Charlie on things because I think it would have sharpened my skills and made me think more. That was my concern. You can tell what the left's concern was, that they just knew that they would look like a fool and no way to continue debating. And I know this one person that went around following Charlie on campus that was a leftist and kept asking Charlie to debate him. And even Charlie at some point was
Parker?
like, dude, yeah, he was like, dude, I've beaten you like 3 times.
And
But
then one time he was like, I just also debated the governor of your state. I don't need to debate you. Like, go on somewhere else.
yeah, but the funny thing about Charlie was more talking about the fact that he's not going to debate him during a public event that he's trying to talk to the students. If I'm not mistaken, Charlie
Mm-hmm.
debated him earlier on this year, like for a 4th time,
Yeah.
and still
Yeah,
beat
they
him.
did it a lot.
So, Charlie's, first off, patience. God bless that man. My anger tempers would flare tremendously.
But I
But
want to say this about Erica Kirk, too, is that a lot of people are trying to say, like, oh, she seems so scripted in these things. And, like, it's, wait, all right, you're speaking to a ton of people. Like, I'm awkward when I'm, out in public speaking somewhat, and she does have something written down. So there's that. But, at that memorial thing, those were real tears. And if you watch any videos of them when they were together during their marriage, like that, the way that she looked at him,
it's so
she
crushing.
loved him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. I mean, think about this though. I've always thought the grit of a man, the determination of a man, is him still being able to do the job, to do the work in the midst of tragedy. And I think that more now is just the American spirit, because Miss Kirk has had to go out and give, I think at this point right now, she's done 3 public appearances. She's given a statement. She's been at the memorial, and she did an episode of the Charlie Kirk show. Could you imagine your husband's dead? You saw it happen. Your kids saw it happen. You're having to
In that
tell,
way.
yeah, you're having to tell your kids, who, like, none of them are older than 5, that, hey, daddy's
3 and
gone.
1.
Yeah, 3 and 1. Hey, daddy's gone. I mean,
And you know what she said?
What?
Was that, she said this in her first speech, that her daughter asked. And she said that he's on a work trip with Jesus so that he can afford her blueberry budget.
Bless her heart. Oh, that's.
Yeah, it's kind of. I mean, look, I'll say this because I do believe that it's okay for men to cry as long as you don't do it all the time. But I've definitely gotten more emotional about this over 2 weeks. Still get emotional than anything in a long time.
Amen to that for sure. But like, dang. I feel for them children, and I feel for Miss Kirk. But again, if that had all happened to you, and again, it's only been 2 weeks, and this is a hurt that's never going to go away, and she's at the worst stage right now. And she's having to go out, and I mean, she has spoke publicly before. I don't know to the extent, but it's not as like Charlie. Charlie went out and like talked publicly, his whole life for the past, since he was 18 to 31. I mean, Charlie is the definition of built for this.
And I hadn't seen her really public speak a lot, to be honest.
And if it has been, she does have a Christian organization I want to talk about. I think Miss Erica is just, she's uncomfortable. She's still grieving emotionally like crazy. I think part of it is just the fact she's trying to figure out what to say. I'm sure she's nervous. I mean, she knew a lot of eyes would be on her. I mean, like, think about this. Let me pull it back up. Her remarks to the nation, just on Charlie's account, reached 4.1 million. That was broadcasted throughout the world. throughout the country. So millions upon millions of people are seeing this, and you're able to critique someone when you're sitting at home in your underwear on the couch. But you don't know how hard it is to get up and speak. I will say I'm one of those people that I'm definitely not a public speaker. You would think it, I'm not. I'm not well at it. I have to go over in my head what I'm going to say hundreds of times over. But I couldn't imagine going through this tragedy and then adding speaking to the nation, knowing millions upon millions of people are going to watch us. And now we do have reports that billions of people ended up watching the memorial service. You know, millions of people have hosted candlelight vigils. So many things have happened, and you're speaking at them, and you're the one who's married to them. You're the one dealing with the kids every day who are just don't know what's going on. You have to have a funeral in between all this for Charlie and have a public funeral for Charlie again. My gosh, I would be a nervous wreck. Even though I take a lot of pride in the old rub some dirt in it mentality, and I believe that men should be more tough. Men need to build up their grit again. Like you said earlier, you know, I was always raised to believe that men don't cry, and if they do, they're crying alone at home. You don't show emotion to anybody. Well, heck, if you put me in front of the deadgum stage, in front of millions of people, and I'm talking about someone I love that's just been assassinated for standing up for what he believed in, I would be reading a script too. So those people are just people that always have to complain about something, and I'm not going to give them the daylight on this show. I do want to promote her business because I do want to say that I think I said it. Charlie has awoken me in all of the main aspects of my life, and one of them, of course, is my religion as a Christian. And Charlie did so much for the conservative movement, but he did a lot for Christians and trying to get people to turn back, because I think he knew that conservatism and Christianity do work well together. You don't have to have them work together. You can be a conservative without being a Christian. But I think he understood the need for revival in this country. And Erica does too. She has an app called Bible in 365, which is reading the Bible for the whole year. I would highly encourage everybody.
Both of us have downloaded it.
Yes, we both have downloaded it. I've even read some, because they let you jump in the middle of the year, by the way. And I've read some Bible verses, and I'm probably going to end the show with it if I can find it, hopefully, in this mess of a phone. But I would ask everybody to go support her on social media. You can find the links there to how to download it, how to get into the messaging system. The website is mainly the most important thing. And from the website, it will direct you how to download the app. That way you get the texts, because that's part of the charm. So I would definitely highly encourage everybody to do that. We need revival in this country. My gosh, do we need revival? Whew. Dang it.
Well, I mean, what we saw Sunday, though, that was a good look at it.
Yeah, it was. We definitely need it, and I'm happy to see all the prayer circles, the candle lights. I have actually started watching the memorial service, because at first I was going to be able to be there, and then something came up and I wasn't able to. So sadly, I haven't got to see it yet, but I am starting watching it. I started watching it Monday. And because, I mean, like, let me pull it back. It's 9 hours long.
Yeah, it's very long.
It's going to take me a hot second, but I wanted to go ahead and start it because I'm also needing to grieve with Charlie. It still blows my mind what
I was
happened.
able to watch. I watched most of it. I mean, I turned it off every now and then just because it was so long and people weren't speaking for a while, and but the main parts, the big speakers and stuff, I did watch, and um, some of the worship songs and prayers in there, like there was a lot of stuff going on, but it was all good things. The left over a guy that punched a pregnant woman in the stomach and did multiple robberies and stuff. They burned down cities and federal buildings and hurt people because of that. And our guy, a voice of a generation almost, of at least these ideas and the impact he had. We didn't burn down anything. Instead, we've gotten together and grieved and worshiped and tried to celebrate the impact that he had.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you mentioned that because I did want to talk about that. We, as conservatives, and you can tell the difference between the right and the left right here. When a tragedy happens, we come to closer as a community, pray, because we think that's the only way to solve this country's problems. And I honestly do believe that, as Charlie did. But liberals, and again, this is their pursuit to help African Americans in this country, would burn down African American communities, burn down their stores, cause, what was it, $1 billion in property damage? I could be shooting a bit high. 2 billion? Okay, I was lowballing it.
Yep.
And they did that for a whole summer. This wasn't like a week. This was like the summer of 2020. I remember calling it the riots of 2020.
The summer of love.
Yeah, the summer of love. Forgot about it. Mostly peaceful protests. But
right.
Again, look what we've done and look how they've treated it. And I think you get your answer there.
Which side do you want to be on? Like, what type of people would you rather associate with?
Amen. Amen. I think we need to talk more about that. Like, what side do you want to be with? Let's be honest here. I mean, like, I personally think it's quite clear, but you know what they say.
And let me just also add to that since the Charlie Kirk thing, we've seen more violence from the left too. It's not just that and how the reaction to Charlie and everything else with that side, but it's also there's been more violence we've had after Jimmy Kimmel got suspended. Somebody shot up, who was a DNC donor, shot up ABC office. Somebody planted a bomb on a Fox News van. Somebody shot at an ICE facility, killed 2 people actually today in Dallas. He also had anti-ICE messages on his bullet casings. And what's her face? Jasmine Crockett from Dallas. Funny. Yesterday was saying that we should take out ICE. And then in Dallas today, that happens. This is their side. Do you want to be a part of that? Really?
I mean, would you rather stand for peace and a future of peace with a party? And I tell people this all the time, and I truly do believe this. Conservatism is not perfect, but we do stand by a lot of tried and true principles of governance. I think conservatism policy has been proven throughout centuries, and it has improved in some cases. And sometimes it's been better to stand our ground.
We did not become the power that we did economically, militarily, or any of that, or have the freedom that we do as people from a socialist or communist government.
No.
The ideas that we want to stick with are how we got as great as we have been. The country's never been perfect, but it's been much better than a lot of other places, and it's not because of what the left wants now.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at how this country got its start. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of the first, or no, 5 out of the first 6 presidents were conservatives, and that started us down this road. And a lot of people call that the Jeffersonian era. That era defined conservatism not only for us, but it also set this country up to be a free country.
And I do wish
it,
that
mhm.
Washington, like, I know you had that, and I'm just going to be real quick, but Washington, that era really didn't last long.
No. 8 years,
like the foreign policy of him, yeah.
Oh, his foreign policy, brilliant. Piss off and leave us alone. That's the sum up of Washington's policy. And something I would like to see, and my favorite thing about Washington's policy, we should not have a two-party system. I have never been an advocate for the Republican Party. I have been an advocate for the conservative movement. And I think Charlie was like that. If you look at Charlie, Charlie's not, he's talking about a lot of Republicans because a lot of Republicans end up being conservative. But
right.
It wasn't about pushing a party forward. It was about pushing conservative values over. And like Trump, and I think Trump has kind of sometimes shot a friend, an ally, but, in all, Trump is trying to drain the swamp, and he's just taking swings at this point, which, I mean, I couldn't imagine feeling surrounded. Like, God bless Trump. I'll say that to the end of this, until his presidency. That man went into the most corrupt part of our government, which is also now the biggest controlled. Not how it's supposed to be, but I'll get on a soapbox, so I'm going to skip through that. And just basically went up there with a baseball bat and said, all right, whoever I see coming at me is going to get hit, friend or ally, or ally or enemy. And that's happened a couple times. I did want to talk about what I thought was a case of friendly fire on a later episode, but, we're not perfect. And I've said it on this show lots of times, I agree more with Trump than I disagree with him. That's why I voted for Trump. Trump is just what this country needed at the perfect time back in 2016. And now in 2025, I still think Trump is the best person for the job. I wish that Trump was able to do it for 8 straight years, but I think honestly, the plan
might have been better.
I think it would have. I think it's ended up better that he ended up as a Grover Cleveland type, which Graves knows why that's funny to me.
Yeah,
but it's
I love great. What Trump did today too.
Oh,
at the UN.
Let's take a quick commercial break. And let's jump into that to kind of wrap up the show. And you just take it. Let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the Conservative Colonel podcast. And I'm just going to let Graves talk because this is the best thing I've heard all deadgum day. And I want to talk about it. So go ahead, Graves.
Well, I didn't even know that there was a UN General Assembly today. There's been so much other stuff going on, and honestly, I've been kind of stuck in fantasy football. But
don't you even bring up our fantasy football league. I'm getting the crap beat out of me by Graves this week. It's pissed me off, and I want to talk about it.
But apparently there was a General Assembly today. So Trump gets there, they walk in the building, and they have to go up an escalator. And Melania's in front of him because ladies first. He is a gentleman, despite what you libs say. And they get on the escalator, it immediately stops. And then, they just kind of look around for a second. And then they walk up the stairs. He's probably just thinking nothing of it. But it becomes pretty apparent that they're trying to mess with him. Because when he is going to give up his speech, it's supposed to be 15 minutes long, his teleprompter cuts off, and he kind of realizes that they're up to something, and he's like, I've stopped 7 wars, and I didn't even get a phone call from the UN. Nobody helped from the UN. I come here, and you know what I get from the UN? A broken escalator and a broken teleprompter, and all your countries are going to hell. Excuse my language, but this is a direct quote from the president. And his speech ended up being 55 minutes. The majority of it was him telling them how broken their immigration and their countries are, including really going after the London mayor, saying how she wants to bring in, or he, I don't know what it is, wants to bring in Sharia law and how they're all turning Muslim. And yeah, he was like, well, you're going to mess with me? All right, here's an hour of just screw you.
That just sums up why I voted for Trump in so many ways. Because we're not a global dead gum police force. I very much go by the George Washington policy. Let's focus on our own, and let's play bare minimum to the outside world. And Trump went
Well,
there.
they obviously don't care.
No. And Trump went there trying to be our voice, because the president is our representative to the other countries. That's part of his job. That will always be part of his job, And Trump went there trying to play nice. And you're going to screw with us when we have been helping you when we shouldn't be, when we have been giving you millions, Ukraine, or billions. We have been doing all this for you, and you're going to mess with the man because you don't like his politics.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile,
and you don't like that he calls you out.
Yeah, and the funny thing is all this did was cause him to call them out. Like, I guarantee you Trump was going there, and he's going to be like, yeah, happy to be here. Maybe a couple quick jabs because it is Trump. I mean, that's why we love him. But it wouldn't have been as brutal as it ended up being. Again, 15 minutes versus 55 minutes of doing
into an yeah.
And I mean, he's not wrong. Have you looked at London recently? And we've talked about this all over the show because it's a big point. I want people to know this could have been America if Harris won, but there's still a good chance it could be America if we don't use this as our turning point. Let me breathe before I have a heart attack.
Michigan.
Yeah. But, you pissed them off. And I'm happy Trump said it. Because, again, look at their policies and what has it gotten them. The natives of London, the natives of England, living just in fear, not being able to even pray in their own homes. They don't have any representation anymore because all their representatives, doesn't this sound familiar, are just either corrupt or trying to take over with Muslim ideology of all things. And I saw this commercial, and it's making fun of what happened in Europe, but it is like irony at its greatest. It just basically shows you just how crappy it is over there right now for them poor people. I feel bad because for those who don't know, we did take a good bit of influence from the freedom of man and how freedom should be done from England, ironically, a monarchy. And we just said, what if we weren't a monarchy? And that's what happened. And, well, of course, we also took inspiration from all other points of history, a lot of republics throughout history, but
we were never supposed to have taxes either, but
let's not get on taxes because I'm one of those Jeffersonians that I'm getting to the point where I'm like, you know what? The government shouldn't tax. Just let's stop it. Send it to the state. The federal government doesn't need money. It doesn't. Maybe, I'll give them let's give them 10% overall. If it's good enough for the church, it's good enough for government. That's where I draw my line. I'm about pissed about paying taxes on every single dead gum thing, and the government still suck.
Yeah.
By the way, the government.
Have you seen the roads in Jackson, Mississippi?
Don't get me started. The government, both federal and state, tax you to fix roads. All federal does is they collect the taxes on that. They send it back to your state. Because they can't legally Constitution take the taxes. So why am I sending it to the government in the first dead gum place? And then can someone tell me why in Mississippi We get taxed twice for our roads, and it's still mostly crap. And it takes 10 years to fix one single road in Jackson. It took.
Did you know
Oh, Graves, what have you done to me?
30 years ago, they did a test and it came out that like 70% of the bridges in Mississippi were not up to like a safe standard.
Shocked, I tell you. Where's that money going is my question. Because if it ain't going to roads, like I've seen
Brett Favre
is definitely getting it. He's getting the Social Security, I think, as well. Brett, I'm glad Brett Favre gets to live in a mansion. I used to be a big Brett Favre fan. I'm still pissed about that. I'm also still crushed about Phil Bryant, but here we are.
Yeah.
It's so ironic, that we pay these millions of dollars. And like, let me just Google real quick Mississippi budget. Let's play a game. What is?
I know. I saw a thing the other day that it's higher than Germany.
7.8 billion in Mississippi. We increased it 62 million, and I can't get a dead-gum pothole out of my house fixed.
Oh, you should see the back. I moved out to the country. You should see the road right off the road we live on.
Oh, you want to hear something funny? And this is not how government should work. But my local town, and again, this is why we need to get back to let's not focus on federal politics. Let's make the federal government so small that it has no consequences on our life unless it's massive, like an amendment, like the Founding Fathers wanted, and you just focus on your state and your local because that's better representation. Because oh, damn
it. I mean, you're not wrong.
Like, but my local government, let's see here, representation scale. What is it? It's like let's see here. Oh, it's not going to show up. While I'm trying to find this, I'm trying to figure out how many people our representatives represent. Let's see here. I'm sorry for the quiet. I really want to figure this out because I found it out the other day. One House of Representative member represents 761,169 people each. No, that is not how it works, and the Senate's even worse. The Senate represents the whole dead gum state with 2 people, and I get the compromise idea, but it doesn't work on the federal government level anymore. The House is too big. The Senate is just corrupt as all heck, but both of them are. But this is why we're supposed to focus on local and state government as the only people that can constantly have interference in our life and piss us off. Because you can go and complain because their representative scale is much smaller than the national. But, Waynesboro outlawed people having, like, that you could have a dirt road, but you can't maintain it. The government will. Graves, ask me the last time the government maintained my dirt road at my farm.
I'm going to probably guess, like, never.
No, they'll do it, but it's like once a year. And Graves, I don't know if you live on a dirt road.
Oh, you mean the state government?
No, it's my local, which makes it even worse because my local only has so much area to cover, and they still can't get out to my house to repair my dirt road, which they made into a law that I could not do privately. That they have to do it so they can have an excuse to tax me $200 from a dead gum license plate.
Yeah.
It pisses me off, and this is why I've got involved in local governments as well, because it pissed me off when I went to get my license renewed, or my license plate renewed, and they told me how much it was, and I looked at them. I was like, I don't know who you talking to, but there must be 3 people behind me. That price is stupid. And they were like, well, it's because of the dirt roads. And I was like, but y'all made that into the law. Don't make that into the law. And then I realized
that's weird.
the tax that they're charging you that they've improved, they've made it more, was already on the books for roads. And then I realized something. The roads are still crap here in Waynesboro. Where's my money going, Mr. Mayor? But
right.
you know, I'll get on a soapbox. I need to be careful. You've raised my blood pressure. But yeah, no, London's a crap hole. The people of that country feel like they have no representation. And I just want to tell everybody, look at England if you want to see where America is headed if we don't stand up. If you want to see what liberalism brings, what liberalism wants, maybe minus, the, just complete pushing of Muslim ideas through government and, forcing women to put on masks and beating them and taking away their rights, stuff like that. That's what liberals want. They want the government to be a police force to its own people. They want to do away with this republic and make it, I don't even know what the term is. It's not a full-fledged dictatorship, and it's on the tip of my tongue, but it's pretty close. They want their people in power forever.
You mean like a totalitarian state?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, totalitarianism. They want their people in power forever. Their people don't have to follow the rules, but every other person in this country does, and that's what they want.
Oh, that's for sure. I mean, did you see them talking about censorship? And then today it came out, Biden administration told YouTube and multiple other social media sites to censor conservatives. Oh, I mean, we kind of already knew that because we saw it happening in real time. But, like, people forgot about it. Now it's been brought back up.
When Jimmy was reinstated, he gave his half-tail apology. But, everybody complained about this as an attack on free speech. And, even some conservatives like Charlie wouldn't have wanted this. I'm like, yeah, but Charlie would at least giggle at it, which I did. Because it's irony. That's the funny part of it. Conservatives have been saying for years, don't stop free speech, but the cancer culture of the left attacked one of their own. And the left were pissed about it. If you would have went it our way, Jimmy would have been fine, was the ironic thing, even with the crap he said. The full lies he told the American people. He probably would have gotten a slap on the wrist, had to issue a public apology, or, at some point, yes, the employer does have the right to be like, hey, you can't represent me like that. But, yeah, he would have had protection of free speech. But because we focus so much on cancel culture, which is a left-thinking idea, Jimmy got canceled. And the lefts were like, what about freedom of speech? And I thought it was just the greatest case of irony I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
That the left were talking about this and talking about how this is a travesty. And then, like, immediately after it happens, it's revealed officially now that the lefts were censoring us through the most popular media platform out there. And we all knew it, but again, it's one of those things like, oh, there was no solid proof. Now there is. The left was trying to censor us, and they were mad over Jimmy. Again, it's almost like a chef's kiss moment, because you sit back and you're like, wow, I could watch these idiots all day sometimes, because some of the things they do is just perfectly stupid. I
mean, watching, whether it's Charlie Kirk or somebody else or just a random debate on TikTok, anytime I hear a leftist, they always get loud when they're losing the argument. But they also never have an argument. It's so based on emotions or logical fallacies. Like the one dude I saw the other day talking about what is a woman. Couldn't answer it. And, I mean, we've seen that for years. But this dude on the University of Tennessee campus is sitting over here like, a woman is whatever a a woman is a category of people who identify themselves as within that category. And they're like, well, what's the category? There's like, do you not understand the definition of a category? It is the category of people who identify themselves as that category. It's like that's not how
what
this
we
works.
asked. We asked you to
And that doesn't
define.
even make sense.
Yeah, what is a woman? I could easily answer that question, Graves. I don't know about you. I can figure it out.
I think I can.
It's been the same thing as it's been since the beginning of time. A woman and a man. It hasn't changed. But no, I actually saw that clip. And fun fact, we've been shadow banned on TikTok twice during Trump's election.
Huh.
Yeah, I figured that out the other day because I was looking through some of our views and realized that for some reason, TikTok will actually tell you if you're shadow banned. I don't know what weed they're smoking over there, but keep it up because at least I don't have to wonder. At least you're honest that you're shadow banning me, unlike Facebook and YouTube. They'll just basically be like, "Oh no, you're good, man. You're not shadow banned." Well, TikTok's like, no, we don't like what you're saying. We're censoring you. I can almost respect that more. At least they're being honest.
Yeah.
We were shadow banned twice during Trump's election when we reposted a video of Trump, and then there's one video of Harris acting like a fool at the border. And those videos got like 50 people that saw them. And so, yeah, we were shadow banned, and they'll actually tell you what videos are shadow banned. Which again is just funny to me. But yeah, no, it's irony at its greatest, and it's been the greatest chuckle of my life trying to figure all this out.
Yeah.
Just to see it happen over and over and over and over again. Spreaker raised their prices. I'm glad we're not on that membership level.
Oh boy.
But yeah, everybody, it's a crazy time in America. We're gonna wrap up this. Do you have anything else you want to kind of share, Graves?
Well, I want to say something that I heard at the memorial. There was a Bible quote too about how when something dies, it grows. But the one that I can remember fully without paraphrasing is that when the tyrant dies, his power goes away. When the martyr dies, it just grows. And that's what you're seeing with Charlie Kirk and with our movement, or with people coming back to God. The amount of people I've seen saying that they have opened their Bible or gone to church for the first time in decades.
Mm-hmm.
People leaving the Democratic Party saying that, we're done. People actually, for the first time, looking and seeing what he was saying and realizing they agree, and now we're on our side. It's done a lot. And that's the whole point, is that tyrannical people, they will never win. In the end, it's always the people fighting for the right thing that get taken out that make a difference.
Amen. And I'll end it on my own Bible verse as well. Romans 8:28 says, "And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose." And I couldn't think of a greater purpose than caring about your fellow man so much that you'll give down his life, which is the greatest show of love, as well as making sure that those people are saved and taking care of what the Lord gave you, which is this country. So I want to leave off those words. Find your purpose in this world, in this fight, whether it's politically or spiritually, and get involved. And share this episode out. Leave a 5-star review if you can. And until next time, we'll see y'all shortly. God bless America, and God bless Mississippi.